Elazar says, one of the students of Rabban Yochanan, also giving us the 3 critical pillars of life. We've already heard from a couple of the other students. Now we're hearing from Rabbi Elazar. And he says these 3 things, you have these 3 things as a foundation, you have everything. You can build everything on it. You have a rotten foundation, you can't build anything on it. You can build whatever you want, but it'll explode. It'll collapse. It may last a week, a month, a year, 5 years, but eventually it's all going to come crumbling down. Rabbi Elazar says, be diligent in the study of Torah, and know what to answer the heretic, the apikos. Know before whom you toil, and know that your employer can be relied upon to pay you the wage of your labor. Simple translation of things is not too difficult. First and foremost, it says study Torah. This we've already heard many, many times. But he connects it to something new. Right next to it, the Rambam and also the Rabino Yonah both agree that the reason why he connected these 2 things is because it's actually one thing. He says, be diligent in the study of Torah and know what to answer the heretic. Meaning that in order to answer the heretic and actually win the battle, you could only do it with Torah. Don't try to use your own wisdom, your own science, your own medical degree, knowing his book, because unfortunately a lot of people, what they try to do, and it's not a good idea. I think in our generation there's probably only one person that can actually do it, but that's also because he knows more Torah than most people, and that's Rav Tovia Singer. But a lot of people, when they have debates with these idol worshippers, Christians, Catholics, what they do is they try to learn the New Testament and try to prove the Christians wrong through the New Testament. And they fail miserably most of the time. Miserably, they fail. Not because the New Testament has any validity to it, but by the fact that you actually acknowledge the New Testament as an actual valid document, you've already lost the argument. This is the reason why the most famous debate in modern days that actually was between Jews and the Christians, the most famous one, the most successful one, the one that has changed more lives than anyone else, is the debate that Rav Mizrahi had with the Christian professor. It wasn't because Rav Mizrahi started quoting verses from the New Testament and they went tit for tat with the New Testament. It wasn't even necessarily because the other guy was quoting verses from the Old Testament to prove his case. It wasn't because of that. The reason why is because Rav Mizrahi did exactly what this Mishnah said to do. You want to prove the heretic wrong? You want to prove that the Torah is right? Do it through the Torah. Don't do it through anything else. Do it with Torah wisdom. First thing the Torah tells us is that if anything contradicts the Torah, it's false. If your chidush that you have, everyone thinks they're Rashi these days. They read Torah, they read some commentary, they learn Parashat Shavua for 1 or 2 years, all of a sudden they're like, no, listen, they said that there's 70 faces to the Torah, so that means that I can start adding commentary to the Torah. Every other day you have a new junior rabbi writing commentary on the Torah, like their Rabbi Akiva. Problem here with this is that people, yes, even though there is 70 faces to the Torah, and even though there's different opinions of certain things, there's also a very big misunderstanding of what that means. Commentary and opinions and anything you're going to do with the Torah, if it's today, if it's coming from today, you have to understand one major thing. If your opinion, your commentary, your thought, your chidush, your anything contradicts previous generation, you're wrong. By default, you're wrong. It's not like maybe you're right. There is no chidush. If you don't agree with the Rambam, you are wrong. Rambam is never wrong. And you're right. If your chidush contradicts Rashi, you are wrong. By default, even if you're the biggest genius ever, you're still wrong. Because you're not even equal to the shoestring of Rashi, or Rambam, or Tosfot, or Even HaEzel, or Rabbi Yosef Karo, of course not Rabbi Akiva. You can never be right and them wrong. And that's what we fail to understand. Especially people that are new, like, oh, listen, I heard there's different opinions, so maybe it's, everything is up for interpretation. Now this would be a contained problem, and not such a big problem, even worth mentioning, if it was only a problem with the new people. It's a problem, let's say, with converts, or it's a problem with, let's say, I don't know, some Baalei Teshuva. It wouldn't really be that big of a problem. The serious problem here is that this is actually sometimes even a bigger problem in the frum world, where you have these young guys going to religious schools. Sometimes they're not taught right, whether it be a university that calls itself a yeshiva also, or it's a yeshiva, and they're not explained thoroughly to have serious honor for the sages, and they're taught, or they misunderstand the teacher to the point where they think that their thought, their chidush, could potentially contradict Rashi or Tosfot or Rambam or anyone before them. And they start telling people, yeah, but you know, everything is up for interpretation. Everything is up for interpretation. Why do I mention this? Because in one of the debates that I watched, there was a rabbi that didn't belong in a debate in the first place. And they had a debate that was organized by a couple of Jews that were Reform. But they want to, you know,
the disgrace of Judaism.
They want to be open-minded and share their knowledge. So they brought the Rasha Merusha of the generation, some guy named Brown. He's one of the debaters for idolatry, for Christianity. And they brought him, and then they brought this rabbi to debate him. I forget the rabbi's name. The rabbi didn't know anything. He lost the debate before he started. Once he started the first 5 minutes of the debate, he's complimenting the idol worshiper. Of how he has a PhD, and he knows several different languages, and this, and all this. The guy didn't belong in a debate. And what happens? He desecrated Hashem's name. This was a horrendous, horrendous show.
Obviously.
Not because Judaism lost, but because we made a foolish mistake of having a guy going to debate someone when he's not supposed to go debate. So, and the reason why he lost is because he wasn't using the Torah as the foundation. He was using his knowledge, his expertise, and everything else but Torah. Trying to talk philosophy, trying to talk psychiatry and psychology, trying to rationalize with people. That's not how you win a debate. The way that Rav Mizrahi won his debate is the first thing first was showing that the Torah is real. Everyone agrees, including the idol worshippers. Okay, point number one achieved. Target two is the only target left. What is it? Show the New Testament's fake. Doesn't matter what it says. Once you show it's fake, once you show it's man-made, it's irrelevant what it says. Because even if it has 99% truth in it, which it doesn't, but even if it has 99% truth in it, that 1% of falsehood makes the whole document false. It's just like, for example, if we're all in a desert, and we finally get someplace, and the guy says, listen, I have water for all of you. I have water for all of you. But just so you know, 2 hours away, there's a city. You're going to get to the city. But you have an option. You could all make it there. You could all make it to the city. It's another 2 hours. You've already been walking in the desert for a while. You have the energy. I tested you. I know for sure you can make it another 2 hours. Or you could just, why struggle? Why suffer? You could drink the water that I have right in front of you. There's only one problem. Out of the 100 cups that I have here, they all look like water. One of them has poison. Not all of them. Just one cup. There's 100 cups. One of them has poison. Raise your hand if you would drink the cup. Any of the cups. Why isn't anybody raising their hand? Because logically, you know, even if there's a 1% chance of you dying, you're not going to drink it. 1% poison makes all 100 cups poisonous. 1% falsehood makes the entire document false.
Correct.
Because once you know there's one level of falsehood in it, it's no longer reliable. You don't know, maybe there's something else too. Maybe there's 2%, 3%, 4%, maybe 50%. The point is you found one thing that's wrong. Once there's something wrong, it's man-made. Once it's man-made, it's no longer divine. Once it's no longer divine, it's not Torah. Once it's not Torah, who cares what it is? It's not worth anything. And that's what Rabbi Mizrahi did. When he showed them that Jacob, it says in the Torah in a couple of places, came down from Egypt, came down from Canaan to Egypt with 70 souls, with 70 people. New Testament says 75. What? God couldn't add up? You forgot how to add. There's 5 mistakes.
That's true.
When he said that the Ma'arat Machpelah, the cave of Machpelah, is in the wrong address, which you can verify today because it still exists. It's in the wrong city. It's another mistake. And countless other errors. Point being is that he used this Mishnah like you're supposed to. It doesn't just say go learn Torah. He says go learn Torah so you can answer the heretic. Because if you actually want to have a chance to win, you want to do a Kiddush Hashem, you want to help people convert, you want to help people stay away from it, you could only do it with Torah as a foundation. Once you use their document, you already lost. Not only because they're probably going to know it better than you, but the fact that you're giving their document any recognition whatsoever means that there's a chance it's valid. But we all know it's not. So,
makes sense.
The sages dealt with heretics for many, many years. And people don't know, when I say to people, if there's anything any good in the world, it must have a source in the Torah. If there's anything that you need to learn, it can be learned from Torah. And people don't understand to what extent, because obviously people today don't truly understand the significance and the breadth of Torah. So here's an example. In the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, Rabban Yochanan says the following. Page 38b. Wherever the heretics have used the verse in scripture to support their heresies, Tshuvatan Betzidan, the rebuttal to their challenge, can be found in a nearby verse. Explanation. Because there's plenty of people that have been trying to go against the Torah one way or another. On one end, the apikos is one that is constantly trying to cool everyone off, get them away from Torah. He's one that says that the Torah is not divine, or he's one that says that the oral Torah is not divine. And he interprets the Torah in a way that's not authentic. Unfortunately, today we have many of them, and some of them even wear a kippah. Anyone that starts translating the Torah to his convenience, and that convenience happens to contradict the sages, is an apikos. But the sages say, listen, you have to fight them, but only if they're not Jewish. Only if they're not Jewish, you have to go fight them. Argue, debate them. Go do it, Kiddush Hashem.
Amen.
Because if he's a Jew, Rav says, you argue with him, you're going to make him worse. Because he has a yetzara. Once he has a yetzara to leave Judaism, to become a kofer, to become a apikos, to become a denier of the divinity of the Torah, then it's an ego battle. It's no longer a truth battle. So even if you prove to him, listen, I can prove to you the Torah scientifically. I can prove to you the Torah rationally. I can prove to you the Torah in any way you want. You want to debate, I'll show you facts. It doesn't matter anymore. Why? Because he's not looking for the truth. He's looking to be right. He's looking to win. Because he has something that the Goy doesn't have. He has a yetzara. And that's why to convert someone, after showing him the truth, is much easier than to get somebody to do tshuva. Much easier. As strange as that sounds, it's much, much easier to convert someone from idolatry, from Christianity, from Catholicism, from Buddhism, from whatever religion you want. Much easier than to get a Jew that left the derech to come do tshuva again. Both are possible, but it's much easier to convert someone. Why? Because, listen, I showed the guy that believes in Christianity. Hey, listen, the book that you believe, the book that you bow to, the book that you praise and say it's truth, look, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 800 mistakes. Just in the first chapter. What are you say? No, it's not a mistake. It's a mistake. You yourself agree that the Old Testament, aka Torah, is the truth, right? Yes, okay, look at what the Torah says. Look what your new false testament says. What are you going to say? No? It's finished. Argument's over. If he's looking for truth, argument is the end. Beginning, end. That because many of them claim to know Torah. So before you even start the sentence, like, no, I know. But I haven't finished the sentence. How do you know what I'm going to say? No, I know already. I know what you're going to say. I learned. I went to yeshiva. How do you know what I'm going to say? I haven't said it yet. You guys know, I already know people like you. How do you know what I'm like? You don't even know my name yet. You have a beard. I know. They're not interested in the truth. They're interested in winning. And that's why I had this guy, I talked about him in one of the lectures 2 weeks ago. Tries to debate me online, private messaging, whatever, scientific things. And I mentioned it that I told him within a few moments, I told him, listen, you're not really looking for the truth. You're just looking to disseminate information, to disseminate your idea. You're not even reading the material I'm providing. You're not even listening. You're not anything. And he's all interested in science. Now, Baruch Hashem, we had the merit to come out with part 2 of the Torah and Science lecture that we had as a film. Baruch Hashem, it's very successful already. Thousands of views. People are giving good feedback on it. It's another 20-part section of, putting a visual to the words that we said from the Torah. So I figured, let me send it to the guy. He likes science. Let me show him a visual of Torah and science. Where when I talk about the different cures that the sages had from already 3,000 years ago, different inventions we already had from 3,000 years ago, showing wisdom, showing proof, showing that the Torah already knew over 3,300 years ago how many stars there are in the universe. Whereas modern science only started catching up in the last 10 years. Obviously, we didn't have telescopes and supercomputers 3,000 years ago. We had God. So he told us. Point is, this could only be from a source that's divine. So I figured, you know what, let me send this to this guy, because he likes science apparently, or he claims to like science, and he claims to want the truth. So I send it to him, thinking, oh, you know, press play, like you press play, watching the cup saving the ducks in the middle of the highway. You can press play on something that says Torah and science. What do you care? You have nothing to do anyway. What does he write to me? Why are you sending me? Why are you sending me this? LOL. Ha ha ha. Why are you sending me this? Meaning, I'm wasting my time. Because he's not interested in learning. He's just interested in proving his point, even if he knows his point is wrong.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Chazal told us that if it's a Jew, don't even bother debating him if he's an apikos.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, what a Jewish guy from the Jewish family. He's been practicing Judaism, all that, Torah and all that, and all of a sudden he leaves and he says, I don't want this anymore, and he's Jewish and all that. He goes and dies. Could they bury him with a Jewish burial or in the cemetery where the Jews are buried?
The burial of Jews that are not Shomer Shabbat has to be, and not all places keep it. In Jerusalem they do. In Jerusalem and some other parts of the world, but mostly Jerusalem, if the Jew is not Shomer Shabbat, they bury him in a different section of the cemetery. They don't bury him next to the Shomer Shabbat.
Okay. It's not buried with the same.
You could be in the same cemetery, but not in the same section.
Okay.
As the Shomer Shabbat.
Could be the saying that somebody leaves and they say, I don't want nothing with Judaism anymore.
Yeah. If they're not Shomer Shabbat, then they
bury him separately, but in the same.
They're in a separate place. But most places around the world don't follow this. They bury everyone together. There's actually a funny joke about it where they say that two people come to a cemetery and they want to, buy their
plot.
Their plot, while they're still alive. So the religious guy comes first, and he says, how much is it? He says, oh, it's $3,000. Okay, $3,000, not so bad. Takes the money out, pays it. The non-religious guy comes and says, okay, I want to do the same thing. I want to buy next to him, he's my friend. He goes, oh, okay, $500,000. Well, $500,000. What is this discrimination? Why $500,000? $3,000, my friend, right now, 2 minutes. He's right next to me. Why $500,000? So, because he's renting. Mashiach comes, going to resurrect with the dead. You're buying.
That's a good answer. That is an excellent answer.
So, Rabino Zal is telling us here.
I like that one.
That if you're going to debate the heretic, first and foremost, know that, Amen. The heretic that we're talking about here, the apikos that we're talking about here, is the one that's not Jewish, because with him you actually have a shot. You actually have a chance to beat him, because he may be looking for the truth, even though he's a missionary. Even though he goes and he tries to recruit Jews to Christianity. If you show him the truth, there's a chance you could actually turn him around. But if he's a Jew, your chances are very, very small, and it could actually be counterproductive. So they said, don't even bother. But regardless of which one it is, make sure that the foundation of your argument is Torah. It's not your logic, it's not science, it's not psychology, it's not philosophy. It's Torah.